everybody, and welcome to another brand new edition of T Watches a Scary Movie. My name is T, and of course we are talking scary movies. I appreciate you tuning in for another brand new episode. Remember, new episodes are guaranteed to go up every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. But as I put out extra horror content throughout the week, best way to stay on top of that is to get subscribed to my Linktree. And you do that by going to linktr.ee/T Scary Movie. If you get subscribed to my Linktree, that's going to give you access to the YouTube page for the video versions of the show, to your favorite podcasting platforms, the audio-only versions of the show, to my Letterboxd page for my written reviews and my movie rankings throughout the year, to my TikTok page for my short horror content, including movie news and movie premieres, and of course, to my Fangoria shop page where you can enjoy my discount on everything Fangoria has to sell, including a yearly subscription to the physical magazine. So, hit subscribe, take advantage of that, because the more subscribers that I get, folks, the more content that I can put out for you, especially on YouTube. So, subscribe. I got great giveaways coming out for y'all as well, too. You are not going to miss that. More reviews, more interviews, got a lot of good stuff coming up. So what are we talking about here tonight, y'all? Well, we are hitting another entry in year 3 of the After Dark Horrorfest. I've explained this here, but I used to work at Blockbuster back in the late 2000s, and when I did, a number of horror films came in the 2 years that I worked there with the title After Dark Horrorfest on it. I got a chance to check out a lot of the movies in years 1 and 2 of the festival, a lot of favorites of mine that I still love looking back on to this day, but I hadn't seen anything past year 2. So everything here in the third year is completely new. I've already taken the time to talk about the film's Autopsy. I've also talked about Slaughter. We are here on film number 3, which is going to be The Broken. That's right, The Broken is our third film. Don't forget, y'all, I'm trying to add up the scores here to see what's going to be the best in show. So if you do get a chance to check this one out, let me know in the comment section here on YouTube. Give me a star ranking 1 through 5. We'll tally them up and kind of see what ends up being best in show once we're done getting through all 8 films. And if you haven't seen the trailer for The Broken before, this tells the story of a young radiologist whose world is seemingly broken and shattered when she begins to see visions of what may be a doppelganger around town. She must get to the secret of not only hers, but perhaps her family's doubles as well too. Now, folks, did not know what to expect here with this movie, and I love coming into it blind and then getting all the tidbits afterwards and realizing there's so much about it that explains why I really enjoy the movie. For example, the writer and director of this film, Sean Ellis, did the film The Cursed, which was the werewolf movie that we talked about here on the show 2 years back, which was a really, really good werewolf movie, honestly. And looking at some of the cast in this as well too, Lena Headey, Richard Jenkins, this is a pretty good collection of like pieces to have for this kind of film back in the late 2000s. And it does find itself in common with some other, evil body double movies, like, for example, very much in common with films like Body Snatchers, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Invasion, or even like Mirrors, for example. I think there's a lot in common with those, and some of those movies definitely do pull the concept off a little bit better. But I think what really helps here is that Lena Headey always has had this captivating presence that makes any of the material that she's working with that much more elevated. And I say that because this wasn't the only late 2000s horror film that she did that I really ended up enjoying, because she did The Cave around this time as well too, which is basically like The Descent light, but there's still a lot of fun to it. And again, I enjoy that, and she makes that a much more enjoyable film than it has any right being. So I think that Lena Headey has this talent for elevating a lot of the more schlocky material that she ends up taking part in. And in this movie especially, I think the thing is that there's at least one twist here that I feel most of you will see coming a mile off, and it doesn't really cheapen it, just because what this kind of film, that's to be expected. Like, there's only so many twists you can do when you're working with doppelgangers and body doubles, and I'm not saying it's a monumental one like The End of Us by any means there, but it is big enough to where it's probably exactly what you're expecting it's going to be. And the nice thing about it is that we learn about that fairly quickly. It's not the way the film ends off by any means, and that allows you to kind of like sit and enjoy everything else that's going on. And it is fun because like some of the deaths in here are brutal. Like they are very brutal for, like, again, the subject matter that we're getting. There's not a lot of care here, and our assailants are very mean. And what I do find interesting, though, is the fact that we don't really get the background for them. Like, I think in a lot of these other films, we get the explanation for these doppelgangers and why they are the way they are or where they're from, and that's not what this movie is. This movie's more focused on it's happening, can you survive? And on one aspect, I do enjoy that because we don't have to get tied up with maybe convoluted mythology or with science that doesn't really make a lot of sense. Instead, you just get to sit back and hope and pray that these people can make it out alive. But the flip of that, though, is that when the movie's not that interesting and when you feel like you might be a little bit confused, you're not really given the answers that you need to really process what's going on. And so it's a really cool looking movie and it's a really cool concept, but the execution is not 100% there. That being said, still one of the more enjoyable entries of the After Dark Horrorfest, honestly. The cast for sure elevates the material. Sean Ellis is very good at writing an effective script that for sure is going to keep you glued to the screen. But it's not the best by any means there. I think it'll find itself smack dab in the middle of like the offerings that we've gotten over the 3 years of the After Dark Horrorfest so far. So I'm really excited to see what else we have in store here. Just because after Slaughter, I needed my faith restored a little bit, and The Broken is definitely helping with that for sure. So let me know in the comment section. Give me a ranking 1 through 5 of what you feel about it. Again, we're going to tally those up at the end, find out what's going to be best in show. And hit that subscribe button because we got more films in year 3 of the After Dark Horrorfest to check out. Remember, a lot of these films are not available on streaming, unfortunately, for free. You can rent and purchase majority of these on sites like Prime or Fandango at Home, but cheaper to buy physical media. Again, you can get a compilation of year 3 of the After Dark Horrorfest from about 10 to 15 bucks, depending on where you're looking. But that's going to do it for me tonight, y'all. My name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.
Boy here is a big fan of Fangoria. So, if you want to check out the world's best horror magazine that's out there, get a chance to get yourself your own subscription, which I just got my first one back in 2022 and I don't regret it for a second. But if you want your own Fangoria subscription or you like the Fangoria merchandise, then head over to the Fangoria shop and use my link if you want to save yourself some money, folks. That's an easy one to remember. Just go to shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW. Again, that's shop.fangoria.com/AXDEW, or use my specific code AXDEW at checkout. You can save 20% off your entire order, and that implies 2 subscription and one-time orders as well. You don't want to miss out, folks, because with the magnitude of horror movies we've had released in the last few years, and with what we have on the horizon, Fangoria is going to be your #1 source for all that great, juicy, bloody information in the world of horror. So again, head to shop.fangoria.com. Hey there, folks! Thanks for tuning in to T Watch This Scary Movie. I appreciate you checking out another review or movie news, whether we're talking movies, TV shows, books, or games, whatever, it's all scary. Remember, you can check out new episodes every Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on the YouTube page for video. That's youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. Again, youtube.com/C/Theron Reynolds Scary Movie. And you can check out the audio version on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Just search T Watch the Scary Movie or Twaza. Don't forget, my name is T. We've been talking scary movies. Stay scared.